A major WWE return is said to be very near. There's an update on WWE's plans for LA Knight. Yeah, Brian Pillman Jr. teases a huge opportunity on the horizon. And did this legend just retire on AEW Collision? Hello, and welcome to the Solo Sunday News here at What Culture Wrestling. Myself, Andrew Pollard. We have some wrestling news for you on this Sunday, because of course we do. It's Sunday, that's what we do. And we're going to get straight into it with seemingly the imminent return of Bray Wyatt. Yes, the Eater of Worlds, the Eater of Pins. Credit to the Solomon Monster there for that nickname, is said to be soon returning to WWE action. Now, Bray Wyatt has been missing for pretty much most of the year. Of course, he was supposed to be at WrestleMania 39 to face Bobby Lashley. This coming on the heels of facing LA Knight. Yeah, more on him shortly at this year's Royal Rumble in a unique Mountain Dew pitch black match, should we say. But yes, Bray Wyatt was supposed to be at Mania. It wasn't. He's been dealing with an unknown illness, physical issue. It's a little bit hazy on that. The details aren't particularly clear, but Bray Wyatt's been missing for a fair old time. Some people have questioned whether he still is with WWE, which he is. But now it looks like he is on the cusp of a return, and this return could happen as soon as SummerSlam. Now, SummerSlam is on Saturday, August the 5th, which is where Wrexham kick off their, obviously, their League 2 campaign. The Reds are going up against MK Dons. But more importantly, we're talking wrestling here. So, yes, SummerSlam. This report comes from Boozer Wrestling on Twitter, which is an insider account that has had a lot of scoops in recent months. And the report says that Bray Wyatt, for those looking forward to Bray Wyatt's return, that they should keep their eyes on SummerSlam's triple main event. Yes, in case you missed it, SummerSlam is being presented as a triple main event, that being Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes, that being Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, and that being, of course, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. So this report teases that Bray Wyatt may have some involvement in one of those matches, or may have some involvement with one of the competitors in those matches. Of course, that has led to lots of people speculating that Could Bray Wyatt and Cody Rhodes be a thing once Cody Rhodes is done with Brock Lesnar? I can hear the grumbles and the groans already coming through my little computer screen here. But that could be likely. Of course, there is history there, because Cody Rhodes was the mentor to Bray Wyatt back in the game show days of NXT. Bray Wyatt at that point, of course, was going by the Husky Harris moniker. So there is history there. Of course, Cody Rhodes is a second generation star. Bray Wyatt is actually a third generation star. Their families it's steeped history there to play off. So Bray and Cody, I don't know, but it looks like Bray Wyatt is on his way back, and it could very well be as soon as in 2 weeks' time. Now, on to LA Knight, the man who Bray Wyatt wrestled at the Royal Rumble, as mentioned. Oh, LA Knight, what is happening? People are being left so frustrated at the moment, because there's just this organic groundswell of support behind LA Knight. Seemingly every week he gets a louder and louder reaction, regardless of which city he's performing in, or in the case of London, which country he's performing in. Now, this kind of started where WrestleMania 39, there was no LA Knight on the card. He did not have a match, which left a lot of people disappointed. Then there was Money in the Bank, where LA Knight might win the briefcase. A lot of people pulling for him to win the briefcase. He was the favorite to win the briefcase. He did not win the briefcase. Then this past Friday on SmackDown, he did not win. He did not lose, but he did not win in the match to further towards Austin Theory's United States Championship. Instead, it's going to be Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio, where people were kind of thinking maybe LA Knight gets the United States title from Austin Theory. That isn't the case for now, but it could be. That could all change. But yeah, again, this is coming from Boozer Wrestling, saying that LA Knight, there is a push set for him after SummerSlam. Now, of course, we did hear this, that after WrestleMania, there was going to be a push for LA Knight. We heard that after Money in the Bank, there was going to be a push for LA Knight. And now we're hearing after SummerSlam, there's going to be a push for LA Knight. What that push looks like, we'll have to wait and see. But you have to think, with him being a SmackDown star, the world title on that brand is kind of off limits now. The undisputed WWE Universal Championship, of course, held by Roman Reigns, that's kind of tangled up in the Bloodline saga right now. Then you've got the United States Championship, which he's just come up short trying to earn a shot at that title. So, I mean, you can always circle back around to that. And also, I mean, you could give somebody a push without having to have a title involved. It's just a case of giving them a good story, something to sink their teeth into, and watch them rise up the card. So Again, we're being told that something's going to happen with LA Knight. Again, fingers are crossed, toes are crossed, all crossable body parts are crossed. And let's see what WWE has in store for LA Knight. Yeah, once SummerSlam is in the rearview window. On that, actually, I should probably note that there's some reports doing the rounds as well that the United States title match for Theory, the defense against Escobar or Rey Mysterio, I think maybe it's even a triple threat, is currently planned for the SmackDown before SummerSlam. So, hey, maybe we still get Austin Theory and LA Knight at SummerSlam. It's not out of the realms of impossibility, or possibility even. Also not impossible is Brian Pillman Jr. signing for WWE. That may happen. Who knows? In case you've missed it, Brian Pillman Jr. is done with AEW. That was, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, stories came that the two parties have gone their separate ways. This was said to be an amicable split. It wasn't a firing. It wasn't asking for his release. It was just a case of, as has happened previously with AEW talents, it's just a case of that the contract was up and it did not get renewed. Tony Khan doesn't fire people. I know it's a lot of people take shots at Tony Khan, but in an industry where we've seen for the past God knows how many years with WWE, firings happen all the time. You sign a massive new contract, it's all right, we're just going to fire you 2 weeks later. It's all good. Whereas Tony Khan, love him or hate him, he honors his contracts, which is nice to see. But Brian Pillman Jr. is done with AEW. He was spotted at the WWE Performance Center last week. He has been training there a couple of times, and now to add further fuel to the speculation of possibly signing with WWE, Brian's been talking about his future, should we say. He jumped around the topic a little bit during an appearance, a virtual signing appearance for Captain's Corner, which was picked up on by the awesome folks over at Post Wrestling. And as Brian Pillman himself said here, there's a lot to come. I can't speak on it right now. It's kind of in the works right now, but I've got a huge moment, a huge opportunity coming up in my career to continue making memories, continue coming up with new gear ideas, and sharing my ideas of pro wrestling with you all. So he's been training at the WPC. He is a free agent. He's got a huge opportunity coming up. You put two and two together and see what you come up with on that one. It may not be WWE. It might be something completely different. But of course, people are going to speculate that another second generation star, Brian Pillman Jr. could wind up in WWE. Of course, his legendary father, Brian Pillman Sr., had his run in WWE. William Regal knows Brian Jr. very well from their time in AEW. Of course, Regal back in the fold behind the scenes at the Performance Center now. I'd like to see Brian there. I'd like to see him get a shot there. There's a lot of talent there with this guy. He's only 29 years of old. 29 years of old. That's the high energy caffeine drinks kicking in. And when I say high energy, I'm not talking to Owen Hart and Coco Beware, which was a great, fun, energetic babyface tag team when I was a kid. So we're getting high energy references here on a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon when you're watching this. But yeah, Brian Pillman Jr. He's only 29 years of age, which isn't that old in professional wrestling. I think he could be a really nice fit in NXT, and then look to get him on the main roster at some point in a year or two's time. There's a lot to work with there. There's a lot of potential. That's the point I'm getting. Right, sticking with a mention of AEW, and did Billy Gunn, has he retired? Was that a retirement we saw last night on AEW Collision? Now, our AEW Collision ups and downs, I will be writing those shortly, so they'll be up at the website. Simon Miller will be with the video version of Ups and Downs, probably tomorrow morning, maybe later today, who knows. But one thing that did happen at AEW Collision was seemingly the retirement of Billy Gunn. Yes, Mr. Ass, Daddy Ass, we call him these days. He's always Mr. Ass to me, and I'm an ass, man. What an all-time banger of the theme tune. God damn it. Anyway, yes, Billy Gunn last night, in case you haven't seen Collision. It was the acclaimed Billy Gunn, well, Mr. Daddy Ass, Ass Man, Ass Boy, Ass. I'm just going to say ass. Sorry, Ryan, editor Ryan. But yes, Billy Gunn and the Acclaim lost to the House of Black for the AEW Tag Team Trios titles. And the finish came where Billy Gunn took a black mass from Malachi Black, 1, 2, 3. And afterwards, it caught my eye watching it because once the pins hit, you see Malachi Black he says a few words to Billy Gunn, and then on their way out the ring, Buddy Matthews also stops and says a few words to Billy Gunn. And it's like, all right, okay, that's something. And then Billy Gunn unlaces his boots and leaves them in the ring. Now, historically, of course, traditionally, that is the sign that a wrestler has decided to call it a day, to hang up the boots. and to head into retirement. So we'll have to see whether this was the proper retirement of Billy Gunn as an in-ring performer. Is it part of a storyline? Who knows? We'll wait and see on this one. But it's if it is the end of his in-ring career, it's been a heck of a run for Billy Gunn. I mean, this is a career that technically spans 5 decades. He debuted in 1989, so you've got the 80s and 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now the 2020s. 59 years of age. And I was even... Because believe it or not, I do make notes for Collision because I have to write about it. And while I was watching Collision, it was just making some notes about like how smooth does Billy Gunn still look, just in terms of his in-ring movement. And then obviously he goes and seemingly retires at the end of that. But yeah, Billy Gunn's still looking great physically, still looking great in terms of how he moves. But the guy is 59 years of age with a career, like I said, that dates back to 1989. It's been a great run, and you look back at his WWE days and think, there should have been more done. After that King of the Ring win in, 1998? There should have been more done as a single star. When DX kind of imploded, there should have been more done. Right, let's get to some of your questions. Right, Mitchell Gillum's got in touch. Morning, Mitchell. Which company, WWE, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, does the best at creating new stars? And which company does the best at elevating stars to the main event scene? Also, here's my sweet girl, Randy. Hello, Randy. Yes, as ever, send me your pit pictures? Your pet pictures on a Sunday always does put a smile on this face. Right, who's best at creating new stars? WWE's a weird one because they do now and again create stars, and when they create stars, they create massive stars. It's just a case of you have to be that chosen star. It's rare where somebody who isn't supposed to become a main event star breaks out to become a main event star. With WWE, it's a case of they see somebody early on, like a Randy Orton, like a Roman Reigns, when Roman Reigns was still doing his leaky stuff in FCW, where it's like they see somebody and earmark them as like, right, this person is going to be a main event star for years to come. They seem to be doing it with Austin Theory at the moment. I'm sure they've done it with Bron Breakker, where they see him as this, and they will push that guy or girl regardless, because that's in their head, that is their story. This person is going to be a main event star regardless. So they are good at creating those big stars, but it's the ones that they pick. If you see where I'm going, it's not a case of, oh, this person's getting massive reactions, we're going to have to kind of go with this. Yes, they do that now and again. Obviously, Daniel Bryan being a massive example. But yeah, so WWE, it's hit and miss in terms of creating new stars. AEW, again, yes and no, because you look right now, Max MJF is the world champion. And yes, he didn't come into the company as a main event level star, but he was ridiculously talented. Anybody that saw him in MLW before that, or on the Indies or wherever he'd been, was just like, this guy jumps out straight away. So you knew that he was always going to get there. In terms of the other new stars they created, if you look at the main event scene, Moxley was already a made man. Jericho was a made man. Hangman, Adam Page, yeah, kind of. Kenny Omega was a made man. So it's Wardlow's one where you're thinking that was the guy, that was the one where you take him from nothing, where not many people had even heard of the fella before he ended up in AEW. You could have got him and made him a top star, but geez, man, what's happened there? New Japan Pro Wrestling, yeah. That could be my answer, actually, for the yes on this one. That New Japan take their time. They've sometimes too long to make that next new star or the next new batch of stars. But when they do get there, it feels worth the wait. I mean, just look at what they did with Switchblade Jay White in terms of when he first came into the company, and he was, one of the young boys, one of the young lions, and you're thinking, really? And we kept waiting for something to happen, and it got drawn out for so long. But when Jay White arrived, he arrived, if that makes sense. So to me, I think New Japan make the bigger stars, but they just take a longer time to get there. That's a really long answer. Right, Mark Solly's got in touch. Morning, Mark. Hoping for a birthday shout out. Turn 29. Happy birthday, Mark. Happy birthday to you on this day, turning 29. Hope you have a good day, mate. Thoughts on when we will get another Kenny heel turn or Bucks and Hangman turn on Omega from when Matt gave Page the nod to beat Kenny. Never got a payoff long ago. Pups love their wrestling toys. Hey, look at those pups with that is The Rock, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fantastic pictures. Right, I don't think we do. I don't think there needs to be any payoff to that moment with the Bucks and Hangman Page and Kenny, where it was the world title match and Hangman. I can't remember which Jackson it was. I think it was Matt gave him like the nod of like, oh, right, okay, yeah, go on, finish Kenny off. But to me, I don't think it needed a payoff. I think the story there is that Kenny had become too much of a, I don't know what words I could say on here on YouTube without being demonetized. He became too much of a prick. He became too much of an egomaniac. He got too carried away, and the Bucks were there with him because they were all heels at the time. But I think the story there, the payoff there, was that even the Bucks had realized like Kenny's gone too far. He's too far off the cliff, off the ledge. He's too far down the rabbit hole. Something needs to be done, really. And okay, if you need to hit him with a buckshot and take his world title, go on then. So I think the payoff there, that was the story, was just that Kenny had got too out of control. So I don't think you need a payoff for that, really. I don't think you need a heel turn Kenny. And I don't think, could you get the Bucks and Hangman turning on Kenny? I don't know. I think the Elite, they're in a decent enough place at the moment, back together as a unit, and see where things go from here. But I'm not crying out for a heel turn from any of those just yet. Jake Messinetti's got in touch. Hey Jake, do you prefer when commentary is ringside or out of the way on the stage? And if you're at the desk, which vantage point would you like better? Oh, I don't mind either. I mean, WCW used to do it all out the way back in the day. WWE had their spells of having, the announcers up on the stage. For me, I'm cool with either. I do quite like it does feel like a novelty to see a commentary table up on the stage, because we've been so conditioned to WWE over the years, to any promotion really of note where it's ringside. But saying that, I did find it very refreshing when Collision started, the first episode of AEW Collision. It's like, oh, the commentary team are ringside. It felt different because it is different for AEW. So I'm cool with either. Is the easy answer there. Baba Yaga's got in touch. Hey, Baba Yaga. Brilliant photo. Fantastic photo. Good morning, broski. What do you think to broski? Amazing. So Damian Priest cashing in at SummerSlam on beat Seth and holding the title until the Rumble and losing to Brock Lesnar, which would set up the dream main event of Lesnar versus Gunther as the Rumble winner for the title. Oscar says hi. Hey, wow. Awesome. Hello, Oscar. I wouldn't be totally surprised if we did get a Damian Priest cash-in, a successful cash-in. But I'm also one of those where I quite happily have Seth Rollins keep that title all the way through until WrestleMania and then face Gunther at Mania, because I do think Gunther's winning the Rumble. I do think Gunther's winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. It's just, obviously, in your situation, you're going with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar versus Gunther would be the bigger match to me, rather than Gunther versus Seth, but I think we're going to get Gunther versus Seth. But yeah, I quite like that logic of, Damian Priest cashes in, then he loses to Brock. But I don't think you want to have Damian Priest losing even to Brock Lesnar just right now. I think, keep the momentum. There's some nice momentum there with him. Keep that going. Daniel the Gamer Domains got in touch. Hey Andrew, I hope you're doing well. Who do you think will replace Billy Gunn after his retirement on Collision? And do the Acclaimed go back to going for the tag titles? I mean, FTR name dropped the Acclaimed as proper tag team units who they've got unfinished business with, so I'd be happy with that. As for a replacement for Billy Gunn, nah, don't need one. You can still have Billy there as a manager necessarily if you really want, but for me, I don't think you need to. There's no need to just focus on. You can focus on the Acclaimed just as a tag team, as a two-man unit. There doesn't need to necessarily be a third person there. One last question has come in from Tom Talks Rubbish. Hey Tom, I hope you're well, my friend. Go and check out his content, his YouTube channel, if you get a chance, because he does some great stuff. Hey Andrew, I hope all's well with you. I've been living on my own since family being on holiday. What wrestling do you watch when people are around, and what is your guilty pleasure match that you can only watch alone? Toby the Dog Pictures, have a great day. Toby looking great. Thanks for sending them in, Tom. For me, I watch the same wrestling with people as I will without people. But the matches that I kind of are my go-to when it's like, I fancy some wrestling as a little pick-me-up. It's kind of the ones that for me are like, a familiar hug, an old friend. So it'll be Bret Hart and Roddy Piper from WrestleMania 8. It'll be some of the Bret and Owen matches. It'll be Bret Hart, basically. Yeah, here I am, actually, in a Bret Hart t-shirt. Or it'll be like King of the Ring 93 is always a go-to one. CM Punk and John Cena at Money in the Bank as well. That's a really cool match to go back and watch. So for me, some of the NXT matches as well, the stuff with the Revival and DIY, the stuff with the Revival and American Alpha, they're kind of like my ones I go to when people are around or when they aren't around. But mainly it's Roddy Piper and Bret Hart, WrestleMania 8. There you go. I hope you give that a watch today, mate, and I hope you well. All right, so that has been the Solo Sunday News here at What Culture Wrestling. Myself, Andrew Pollard. Have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing. I hope it's a good day for you all. The normal lads will be back tomorrow. I believe it's Woolborn and Murray, but if not, hey, apologies. But I'll be back next Sunday. You have a good one.